Good evening and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. We make your news our business. My name is Paul Madenge and our sign language interpreter tonight is Samuel Karaoke. Now to our very first story. President William Ruto has today intensified development effort in Machakos County by launching a series of major infrastructure and housing projects valued in the billions. The head of state inspected ongoing works at the Motitoini ESP Markets Commission Phase 1 of Machakos Affordable Housing Program and broke ground for Phase 2, while also unveiling key road upgrades in the Mwala, Kangudo and Machakos town constituencies. The president further announced substantial allocation for electricity connection and student hostels, saying the government is committed to the equitable growth across the region. Here are the details. President Ruto announced 1.4 billion Kenya shilling for electricity connections to 10,000 households. He also confirmed 3 billion Kenya shilling for new student hostels in Machakos County. He said the project will improve access to power and accommodation.
Hii Machakos imebaki nyuma kidogo kwa mambo ya stima. Na ndio sababu hiyo nimekuja hapa na 1.4 billion shillings ya kuunganisha stima. Watu 10,000 wapya wataunganishwa na stima between now and June next year. Na ikifika hapo nitaongea na huyu Caleb. Kama kuna sehemu ambayo bado haijafikiwa na stima, mimi nitasukumana na yeye tuendelee na hiyo stima. Tuko na university yetu ya Machakos. Watoto ama wanafunzi pale hawana mahali ya kutosha ya hostels. KMTC hawana mahali ya kutosha ya hostels. Kenya Technical Training Colleges zenu hawana mahali ya kutosha ya hostels. Tumewapatia pesa shilingi bilioni 3 ya kujenga hostels ya wanafunzi 7,000 hapa Machakos County.
The president urged residents of Machakos and Kitui to take pride as Kenyans. He emphasized the importance of unity and national identity in driving development. Ruto assured wananchi of continued government support.
Vile vile, nimemwambia mheshimiwa wenu nampatia another 150 million ya kujenga soko mbili kubwa hapa Mwala. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Na hiyo soko mimi nataka ianze mwezi ujao. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba wakati tunajenga zile soko tunajenga Kenya. Hapa Machakos tumetoa pesa nyingi, shilingi bilioni 25 ya mambo ya housing, ya mambo ya market na mambo ya hostels. Na mimi nataka kila sehemu ya Ukambani tuhakikishe ya kwamba maendeleo ile inaendelea Kenya, inaendelea hapa Ukambani.
While commissioning the Machakos Affordable Housing Program, President Ruto handed over keys to 175 new house owners. He expressed satisfaction that under his leadership, more Kenyans are becoming house owners through government-supported initiatives, describing the milestone as a testament to effort aimed at expanding dignified and affordable living spaces.
I am a very, very proud person that today, by the effort of the government of Kenya under my leadership, there are Kenyans who today are home owners. That is the pride of every Kenyan. You want to own a home that you can call home, not rent one. Si kweli? And therefore I want to say congratulations, and it is our responsibility to make sure that millions join you in being home owners in the Republic of Kenya. We want to move citizens from slums, from informal settlements, from paying rent to owning homes, like the way you are now proud home owners. That is our mission, that is our commitment, that is our plan, that's our vision, and we intend to deliver on it.
Highlighting the space of the national housing agenda, President Ruto announced that the government has invested 25.5 billion Kenya shilling in constructing affordable houses across the country. He reiterated that this investment is designed to create jobs, stimulate local economies, and ensure thousands of families have access to decent and secure housing.
Tumetoa pesa 25.5 billion ya watu wa Machakos County tuwapatie katika kujenga affordable housing, kujenga masoko na kujenga hostels ya vijana wetu hapa Machakos. Na mimi nimepatiana funguo leo hapa Machakos ya watu wa Machakos homeowners, wale watu wamepata tayari nyumba ya affordable housing. Na mbali na kupatiana awamu ya kwanza, pia nimeanzisha phase 2 ya nyumba 570 na phase 3 mimi nakuja hapa Januari kuanzisha phase 3 ya nyumba 5,000 ya watu wa Machakos hapa katika city yenu ya Machakos.
For GBS News, I'm Paul M. Maina.
Now from Machakos to environmental matters. An environmental campaigning organization that works on environmental issues such as climate change, deforestation, and plastic use has today set out alternatives on economic and environmental solutions that brought together several environmental defending organization leaders. The organization aims at promoting the use of biodegradable materials instead of recycling plastic, as our reporter Davis Karani now reports.
At the heart of today's festival was a renewed call to rethink how Kenyans consume and dispose of plastics. Dorothy Otieno, a leader from the Center for Environmental Justice and Development, underscored the urgent need for the country to scale up the efforts in reducing plastic usage while strengthening recycling systems.
Member states are coming together to discuss an international law. So in that sense, there isn't an international law yet. But the discussion of this international law is on the basis that there isn't one country that can address plastic pollution and that solution works. Case in point, as Helen had mentioned with the plastic bag ban, we did it in Kenya, everyone was happy, it was discussed internationally. But because our neighbors are still producing the same bags, we even did an investigative study that was trying to understand how these bags are being smuggled from the neighboring countries, and we see it's being done at night in those gunny bags. So it's very difficult, even when you're talking about enforcement, the way that it's being done is very difficult, but that doesn't give an excuse. Yes, there's need for stronger enforcement.
Her remarks were echoed by the environmental champion Brian Nyabuthi, who emphasized that the transition to refill and reuse model is not only environmentally sound, but also an economic lifeline.
My perspective on the refill and reuse, it's a solution to the waste pickers, because we can employ ourselves through the refill and reuse systems. We can own the companies which are doing it. It can be a just transition for the recycling and for the companies which are producing the plastic. You know, many of the time we are being told that recycling is working, but you know, as he has indicated, is less than 10% of the plastic that is being produced is being recycled. And most of the time that you find even the plastic that is being recycled cannot be turned to the natural, to the first thing that it was made of. It has to be turned to a tank or to something which will not be of much value compared to the first, because the manufacturer wants a virgin plastic.
The festival also showcased innovative alternatives to plastic from local creators. Deborah Arero, representing Baskets Kenya, advocated for the adoption of natural non-woven materials.
We basically sell and we craft and sell baskets and other unwoven items that are made from natural materials. For example, sisal, palm leaves, we have banana fiber, we have raffia, and so many other things that are sourced directly from the environment. We make different types of baskets that are used on the everyday basis. For example, we have like laundry baskets, shopping baskets, storage baskets.
To cap up the day's call for action, Helen Kahaso, project lead for Plastic Project at Greenhouse Africa, stressed the need for policies and consumer habits that favor biodegradable materials.
Kenya has made some progressive, rules and regulations when it comes to single-use plastic. For instance, in 2017, I know most of us are aware that, Kenya banned single-use plastics, but also it went ahead and, we also have other regulations such as the Sustainable Waste Management Act and also the Extended Producer Responsibility. But when we scrutinize these rules, these laws and regulations, we find that most of them really focus at the end game, which is the waste management, but does not, tackle, the beginning of the problem, which is production.
With growing collaboration among environmental groups, innovators, and policy advocates, today's festival highlighted a clear message that Kenya has the solutions for plastic pollutions, but it will take a collective actions to turn them into an everyday reality. Davis Karani for GBS News, Nairobi.
And now from environmental matters to what's happening in Tanzania. After gaining 369 votes out of the possible 371 votes yesterday in the Tanzanian parliamentary process, today former finance minister Mwigulu Nchemba took his oath of office, officiated by Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu, and in the presence of top dignitaries. Mwigulu Nchemba swore to uphold the constitution and to work closely and diligently with Samia Suluhu. Nevertheless, he also vowed to deliver to the Tanzanian people. Outwardly, Suluhu asked the Prime Minister to follow the footsteps of his predecessor, Kassim Majaliwa, who served as Prime Minister since 2015, and also apply his economic prowess in helping Tanzania to soar highly in the global stage. Matthew Perez has the details.
Mwigulu Lameck Nchemba is the new Prime Minister of Tanzania, in the presence of Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu and a vast delegation. He had a single business: taking his oath of office.
Mimi Mwigulu Lameck Nchemba naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania.
This comes after unanimously obtaining 369 out of the total 371 cast votes yesterday in an early parliamentary election.
Kura za ndio 369. Asante. Na hii inafanya idadi ya kura zote zilizopigwa kuwa 371. Hivyo, Mheshimiwa Daktari Mwigulu Lameck Nchemba amethibitishwa na bunge kuwa waziri mkuu kwa jumla ya kura 369.
President Suluhu, who officiated the Prime Minister's swearing in, congratulated him in his new role, tasked him to apply his knowledge in economics, as well as asking him to follow the footprints of his herald Kassim Majaliwa, who has been serving as Prime Minister since 2015.
Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, kazi na utu. Shughuli yetu leo hapa ni kuja kumwapisha waziri mkuu mpya wa serikali yetu ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, Mheshimiwa Dr. Mwigulu Lameck Nchemba. Tunakupongeza. Umepokea kijiti kutoka kwa waziri mkuu mstaafu ndugu yetu Mheshimiwa Kassim Majaliwa, ambaye amefanya kazi nzuri kufanikisha tunayotamba nayo leo. Wewe utakwenda kulisimamia baraza la mawaziri ambao nao wanaongoza sekta tofauti tofauti. Ni wajibu wako kuhakikisha kasi ya utekelezaji wa yale tuliyopanga inaongezwa ili tuweze kuyatimiza. Lakini utekelezaji wa kazi zote hizo zinahitaji fedha, na wewe umetoka kwenye sekta ya fedha. Kwa muda wa miaka 5 umejua vichochoro vyote tulivyokuwa tukipita kutafuta fedha. Kwa hiyo utamsimamia atakayekaa kwenye nafasi yako ili naye aweze kupita kule tulikopita, fedha ipatikane na kazi ifanyike.
The economist and former finance minister Mwigulu Nchemba, who stands as Iramba's member of parliament, pledged to protect the Tanzanian constitution over and above working utterly for the Tanzanian citizens. The former deputy secretary of Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM party, which is also the ruling party, who further predicted an economic growth of 6% in his victory address yesterday, also promised to advise President Samia Suluhu Hassan accordingly into the bargain of uniting a split Tanzania that is yet to heal from more than 1,000 deaths of its citizens who protested decrying faulty election on the just concluded polls.
Hifadhi, nitailinda na kuitetea katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa mujibu wa sheria iliyowekwa. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie. Mimi Mwigulu Lameck Nchemba naapa kwamba nitaitumikia vema na kwa moyo thabiti Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania katika kazi zangu za waziri mkuu, na kwa wakati wote nitamshauri kwa hekima na uaminifu Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, na kwa vyovyote vile sitatoa siri za baraza la mawaziri. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie. Naapa kwamba katika kutekeleza madaraka niliyopewa kwa mujibu wa Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, nitatetea na kudumisha umoja wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa mujibu wa Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie.
All eyes are now on him to execute his promises to the Suluhu-led government. Matthew Perez for GBS News.
And now moving on, 74 years old South Sudan President Salva Kiir, who has been in power for 14 years, has sacked Bolmel in delivery of South Sudan Stage TV. Benjamin Bolmel, who is one of Kiir's 5 vice presidents, is a victim in a series of firings that have come amid endless international conflicts. Seen as Kiir's preferred successor, Bolmel came into office in February this year. The sacking saw the vice president stripped of his role as deputy party leader of the ruling Sudan People's Liberation Movement Party. The demotion from general to private in the National Security Service. Since 2017, Bolmel has been under United States sanctions for corruption allegations, which he has not responded to up to now. The South Sudan government has given no reason justifying Bolmel's sacking, and no successor has been named. However, in his response to his sacking, he thanked President Salva Kiir for the opportunity to serve as his vice president. And now it's time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into our social media platform at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 21144. We will be right back.
Jina ni Coach Martin Musili. I'm a coach, as I've stated. E-sport nilitambua since 2015, 2016.
Kuna sports mingi man, but nilikutiga kwa fencing.
Kwa e-sport kuna kichele, kuna pesa kweli.
In as much as tunaiplay, tunaitumia pia kama life skills. Si shule peke yake, pia corporates. Na tunakuja tunafunza strategic thinking. It can create an avenue for a scholarship. If maybe anacheza shule, a scholarship. Maybe anaweza advertise ile corporate.
Nini imekukip kwa game? Like ni strategy gani unatumia? Like unafeel strategy ndio imenyekanga hapa, unafeel kupeleka mbali. Alafu utaniambia ni strategy gani imekumake unatumia as a player, ona ile strategy yangu inafanyanga na win game. Hata as a coach, ni strategy gani unaonanga hii nikitumia nasaidia player wangu kudefeat opponent wake? Requirements zangu ni nini? Nini nataka kwa fencer? What are the requirements?
All you have to be, as long as you can walk, you can move your arms, and you can think on your feet. You can fence.
Ili kujua mengi, jiunge nami Omala Brian kwenye GBS TV Sports Sugu Show. This is where passion meets the game.
Hello kids, and welcome to Kids Mind, where we learn, we laugh, and we explore. Once upon a time, there lived this beautiful, kind, and humble lady named Esther. She lived with Mordecai for a very long time until she grew as big as me. Before Esther was not named Esther, her name was Hadassah. In our today's Bible story, I mentioned 5 characters. Who are they? Mordecai, King Xerxes, Esther, Haman, and Haggai. Esther represents me. Esther represents me.
Everywhere, GBS.
Well, you are watching the news at 9 right here on GBS TV Africa. It's time for your most favorite segment of the bulletin, the sports news. Let's get sporty. And now, Morocco's national football team wrapped up its final training session before departing for Tangier, where the Atlas Lions will play two international friendlies against Mozambique on Friday and Uganda next Tuesday. With the November fever window in full swing, AFCON 2025 host Morocco are using the opportunity to fine-tune their squad and build chemistry before the continent's biggest tournament. Head coach Walid says the focus this week has been on cohesion and tactical preparation, and he promised Morocco will deliver an African Cup of Nations, a quote, at the highest level, end of quote, both on and off the pitch. But the team will have to navigate the upcoming matches without several key players. Star defender Achraf Hakimi remains sidelined with a serious injury picked up during PSG's Champions League clash, while Nayev Aguild is also out after being hurt with Olympique de Marseille. AFCON 2025 kicks off December 21st, rather, with the final set for the January 18th.
We will organise the best Africa Cup possible. We'll show Africa that Morocco has a high level of organisation and staff. We'll have a national union, and outside there'll be a celebration, everyone together. God willing, afterwards there will be tournaments. I always say tournaments, we can hold a big match, which could be won or lost, depending on the level of the teams.
And now moving on, Napoli has suffered yet another major setback, with midfielder Frank ruled out for several months after sustaining a serious high injury while in international duty with Cameroon. What initially appeared to be a minor knock was confirmed Thursday as a high-grade hamstring lesion following medical test. Although the club did not give an exact recovery timeline, Aguisha is expected to be sidelined for 3 to 4 months. Video in his injury depicts Napoli's growing crisis as following stars Kevin De Romel, already out with similar hamstring problems and aren't expected back before the new year. The absence of all three leaves Napoli stretched thin as they navigate both domestic and European competition. And now we have come to the end of the bulletin here at GBS TV Africa. Let's do this again next time, same channel. My name is Paul Madenge, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Samuel Karaoke. It's a good night from me.
Everywhere, GBS.